I did not grow up in a shiny, happy vacation family that ate dinner together and sang on car rides or anything. I didn't have cousins, sleepovers, Christmas traditions, or anything like that. And because of that, I am a lot more quiet, internal, and so on than my spouse's family. They are the polar opposite. People stop by at their home unannounced and they're welcomed with open arms. There are so many kids running around all the time, laughing and playing, and the adults watch them warmly with love. They all share secrets and stories and are very affectionate. They've been super welcoming to me, but have started to be very pushy when it comes to certain things. For example, at a dinner recently, one of the kids wanted to show us the song she learned. Everyone sang along together. I sat quietly and listened. My spouse's aunt kept elbowing me to join in. I smiled and clapped for her, but did not sing. That same day, one of the younger kids was going around hugging everyone. Goodbye. I stooped down and gave her a high five, and she toddled off. The mom told me that was weird and to just hug the child. Well, a bunch of the women my age were planning a girls-only camping trip and talking all about all the fun and girly things they wanted to do, all of the bonding experiences they desired. I am not interested, so I declined politely, but did say they could use our camping supplies. The organizer got frustrated and roped in my mother-in-law. Both of them teamed up on me, saying they're trying on their end to get me to open up and be part of the family more. I said that was so nice of them, but that I have opened up a lot, and they need to understand that it all goes two ways. I have given in so much, and they know a lot more than I ever wanted. I've done a lot of things with group events, one-on-ones, shopping, getting my hair done, wedding stuff, and so on. I would have strongly preferred to just not do any of it, but I knew it was a give-and-take thing and challenged myself to open up. I explained this and said I appreciate them, and I know it's difficult for them, but reminded them that it's difficult for me as well, and I'm trying as hard as I can. My therapist and I work on this all the time. This really bothered my mother-in-law, and she went to my husband to complain. He defended me and told her that I've done nothing wrong. He reiterated this to me as well and said that he thinks I have done a lot more than he expected and that he's proud of me. But it didn't sit well with my mother-in-law, who reached out to tell me that she was upset that after 8 years, I still treat them like we aren't family. But to me, I do treat them as family. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. The fact that your husband has seen everything you've done to be more involved with his family and is proud of the progress you've made definitely speaks to this being more of an in-law, or as I suspect, a mother-in-law problem of you not performing to her standards or expectations. It seems to me that you've been putting a lot of effort into understanding and accommodating your in-laws' lifestyles, without them putting the same effort back into understanding you and what you need as a person who is more introverted by nature. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Their version of family and their expectations are very different from yours. They can't have exactly what they want just because they're pushy. I have given in so much, and they know a lot more than I ever wanted. I've done a lot of things with group events, one-on-ones, shopping, getting hair done, wedding stuff, etc. I would have strongly preferred to just not do any of it. They still want more. That's not right. Now, for the update. I'm back with an update on my situation with my husband's family. It's been just over a month since the last family gathering, where things felt really off. My husband invited me to a family barbecue at his aunt's house. The way he asked me, though, felt like he was approaching me with a bit of anxiety because of how things went last time. I could tell he was worried about me saying no, but I didn't want to add to his stress, so I agreed to go. I knew it'd mean a lot to him, so whatever. At the barbecue, things were lively. Kids were running around, music was blasting, I could hear the laughter and yelling from the street. Honestly, it felt good to see everyone so happy. I was really trying to be in the moment, but then everyone decided to start playing this game that involved singing, like karaoke or something. All of a sudden, I felt that familiar pressure again. I chose to sit this one out though, and opted to help with food instead. Let the people who want to sing, I guess. One of my husband's cousins jokingly teased me for not participating, saying something like, "You're not too good to sing with us, are you?" I just smiled and said I was going to help prepare for the food. I noticed my mother-in-law watching me closely during the game. She was staring a little too hard, to be honest. After the game, I overheard her talking about me to one of her sisters. She was going on about how I didn't even try to sing and how she was starting to think I didn't care about them. I just stood there in the kitchen, kind of frozen, listening to this. I felt like I was being judged for not caring about the family. After the barbecue, my husband brought up the topic. Apparently, his mom had shared her feelings with him. He asked me why I didn't try to sing, and I told him I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. He said he understood, but I could tell he was a bit disappointed. A few days later, my husband's brother announced he was getting married. The family was so excited. They planned a big engagement party at a local community center, and I was invited to help plan it. I felt unsure about attending, though. My husband encouraged me to be involved. He said it would mean a lot to his family. He looked at me with those big puppy dog eyes, so I caved again. During the party preparations, I suggested a few ideas that were quickly dismissed. I felt sidelined, like my suggestions were being overlooked in favor of more traditional ones. I get it. They want to do things their way, fine. The day of the engagement party rolled around, and I decided to attend. At the party, I was assigned to greet guests, but I felt out of place. The couple's friends were loud and interactive, making me feel even more reserved. I just stood there, awkwardly smiling and shaking hands. I overheard my mother-in-law talking to guests about how welcoming the family was. That made me feel so out of place, like I was the only one who wasn't welcome. I tried to engage in small talk, but struggled to connect with anyone. An aunt approached me, asking why I didn't bring my husband to dance. I explained he was busy helping with food and drinks. She then suggested that maybe I should dance alone to lighten the mood. I felt so pressured, so I reluctantly joined the dance floor, but felt so awkward. It was like everyone was watching me, waiting for me to be entertaining. The energy shifted when my husband returned and pulled me into a group dance. He was so happy. It eased the pressure for a second, but I still noticed my mother-in-law watching us like a hawk. After the party, the family gathered to discuss what went well. They always do this, and I have to say, it's the most painful part of the entire event. A few weeks later, my husband shared that his parents wanted to have a family meeting. The meeting was to discuss how to better include me in family activities. He said they really wanted to figure this out, and I felt a bit overwhelmed, but agreed to attend the meeting. During the meeting, my mother-in-law expressed her desire for me to engage more. She was really passionate about it, and I could tell this was something that meant a lot to her. The meeting ended with no real resolution, but we all agreed to keep trying. My husband mentioned wanting to plan a family trip to bring everyone closer. The planning for the trip began, and I could see my mother-in-law was more involved than ever. She was all over those planning details, and I couldn't shake the feeling that the stakes were higher this time. As the trip approached, I found myself caught in the family's expectations. They really wanted me to engage, and I felt the pressure. Now, I'm just preparing for this trip. I know this family is big on bonding, and I'm about to be asked to bond every second of the day. Edit. My husband says his family is genuinely trying to include me. He thinks I'm making progress. He insists his family is loving and patient. I'm feeling overwhelmed and pressured to conform. Am I the idiot for refusing to let my stepsister hijack my relationship with my brothers? I am 18 years old and the youngest of 4 siblings. I have 3 older brothers, Michael, who is 28 years old, John, who is 27 years old, and Chris, who is 25 years old. Our mother passed away when I was 8, and since then, my father, who is 53 years old, and my brothers have been quite protective of me. I had father-daughter date nights with my dad and movie nights with my brothers, among other things. I think that was their way of making sure I didn't feel lonely. Last year, my father got married to Melissa, who is 45 years old. She, along with her daughter Ashley, who is 18 years old, moved in with us. I always got the sense that Ashley didn't like me. She would talk to my dad and my brothers, but she never talked to me. Whenever I tried to talk to her, she would answer curtly and then walk away. I never understood why, or if I did something to her, but after a few weeks of trying to get along with her without success, I gave up. We were civil to each other, and that was enough. My brothers were also undecided about her. She kept insisting on being invited to our movie nights, but she would always demand to see a movie she liked, even if none of us liked it, and she kept trying to cuddle with my brothers, which they found uncomfortable and weird because they didn't really know her. Chris actually told her to stop because he didn't like that she was so touchy with him. Recently, I had my 18th birthday. It was fun and low-key, and I received wonderful gifts. The next day, Ashley came to me and told me that it was unfair that my brother's gifts to me were better than their gifts to her for her birthday last June. For context, my brothers each gave her a $200 gift card to different stores so she could buy what she liked, because they didn't really know her. They gave her gifts to be civil. My brothers got me a personalized perfume, a signed copy of an entire book series that I've been obsessed with lately, and a personalized planner with messages and quotes on each page. I will admit that they put more thought into my gifts, but I think it's fair since they don't really know her. But then Ashley started crying, saying that I always got everything and she got nothing. And she then demanded I stop hanging out with them, and said that if I didn't hang out with my brothers so much, then they would pay more attention to her. She also wanted me to tell them to treat her like they treated me because she was also their sister now. I told her that I wouldn't force my brothers to do something they didn't like. She insisted that I call my brothers right that moment to tell them that I would hang out less with them and that they should get Ashley better gifts. I refused. Apparently, she told her friends and cousins because I've been getting messages from them telling me I'm a spoiled, selfish kid, so I'm second-guessing myself. So, am I the one in the wrong? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Ashley is quite the pick-me girl, isn't she? And her behavior towards your brothers is not in the least sisterly. She's irrationally jealous of the closeness you all have, which cannot be duplicated on demand, and is not likely to happen at all, since your brothers are grown men and you and Ashley are young adults, though Ashley sounds immature. I too would involve your brothers and dad in this. If I were one of your brothers, I would be really upset. Are your brothers good looking? That could be a factor, not the a-hole. Comment 2. Not the a-hole. You grew up with your brothers and you have a close relationship. Ashley is unknown to you. I really think you all need to have a family meeting because this can spiral out of control. It actually already is spiraling out of control. If you hold the meeting, show them the messages and tell them what Ashley demanded. Do not lessen your time with your brothers just because she said so. They love you and would be hurt by it. Now, for the update. I'm back with an update on the mess with Ashley. It's been just over 2 days since the confrontation, and things have only gotten weirder. So, my family had a casual dinner to celebrate Ashley's birthday. I was trying to be chill, especially after all that drama, but Ashley was just sitting there, super quiet, staring at her phone like it was the most interesting thing in the world. After dinner, her friends started showing up for her birthday party, and that's when things got even more awkward. I noticed Ashley's friends whispering and laughing together, and I couldn't help but feel like they were talking about me. One of her friends came up to me and asked about my birthday gifts, which was weird. She kind of hinted that Ashley was upset about what my brothers got me for my birthday. Like, why are you asking me about this? As the night went on, her friends started making these snide comments. They said I was hogging all the attention, which is rich coming from them. I was trying to talk to Ashley, but she just rolled her eyes at me. I asked her if she wanted to join the conversation, and she just turned away like I wasn't even there. Then it got worse. Ashley accused me of being fake, and I calmly reminded her that I was just being friendly, which is more than I can say for her. Her friends laughed, and I felt so cornered. I just wanted to get out of there for a moment, so I excused myself and went to the kitchen to grab a drink and collect my thoughts. While I was in there, I overheard Ashley venting to her friends. She called me a golden child who gets everything my way. I was so done with this. I decided I needed to confront her when the party ended. After the party, I found her alone in the living room. I asked her why she was so upset and if we could talk. She snapped at me, saying she was tired of me pretending to be nice. I pointed out that I had always tried to include her in everything, and that's when the argument started. She threw a drink at me and then went to her room. I was so over this, I went to my room, grabbed my phone, and started documenting everything that happened. The next morning, I sent a detailed message to my brothers outlining the events of the party and Ashley's behavior. They were shocked and promised to talk to Ashley about it. That weekend, my brothers and I planned a family outing to a local arcade. We had so much fun playing games and just hanging out. During the outing, my brothers asked me about the situation with Ashley, and we ended up discussing it. We all agreed that Ashley needed to understand the impact of her actions and how they affected our family. My brothers and I decided that they needed to talk to Ashley and explain why her behavior was not okay. My brothers promised they would have a serious talk with her about it. After that, Ashley decided to host her own birthday party and invited her friends. The party was a hit, with laughter and fun filling her home. Even though Ashley's absence was noticeable, I was trying to focus on my friends and have a good time. A week later, Ashley confronted me about the party. She wanted to know why I didn't invite her. I calmly explained that I needed space from her negativity and drama. It was just too much for me. Since then, my brothers have been spending more time with me instead of Ashley, which has been a relief. The family dynamic has shifted and Ashley has become more isolated. She doesn't seem to like it, but honestly, I don't care. Edit. The main question everyone seems to be asking is about my relationship with my brothers. We're still really close, and they understand my perspective on this whole situation. They have been more protective and aware of Ashley's behavior after everything that happened. They've also been super supportive, especially after Ashley's friends started messaging me. My dad has noticed the shift in the family dynamic too. I've talked to him about it, and he's aware of Ashley's behavior. He feels like it's his responsibility to address it, but he hasn't done anything drastic yet. I'm okay for now, just focusing on myself. Am I the idiot for refusing to be the trustee of my brother's inheritance and being called selfish by my parents? Context. I am a 45-year-old man and have one brother who is 40 years old. My parents, who are 71 years old, a male and a female, both had successful careers and have accumulated enough wealth that they need to do estate planning. I got very lucky and have had a lucrative finance career that has left me quite a bit wealthier than they are, which they know, roughly. My brother and his wife both work for nonprofits, but have climbed their respective organizational charts and have a good middle-class income. My parents have helped them from time to time, for example, with a down payment for a house when they got married and private school tuition for my young nephew. He is a little more into shopping and costly hobbies than I am, but I live an unusually Spartan life. My brother and I have a good relationship, though we live on opposite sides of the country, so we only get together a few times a year. When my parents last visited me, they pulled me aside to tell me about their estate plans. They intend to leave everything to my brother and his family because I am already financially set and because they do not want a giant disparity in wealth between their two sons. I am entirely fine with that. It is their money, obviously. I do not need any, and I love my brother and his family and want them to be comfortable. I told my parents as much. So far, so good. Here's where it got problematic. My parents said it's a lot of money, and we do not want it to just drop in my brother's lap. So we are setting up a trust to receive the money to benefit my brother and then my nephew. We want you to be the trustee. I told them that was not going to be possible. I do not want to superintend my brother's finances. It seems like a recipe for strife and division. If I just let him do what he pleases and the money is dissipated, he could resent that I did not invest it better or exert more control. If I am conservative about disbursements, then he could resent my heavy hand. I also told them that while my brother is not quite the penny pincher I am, he is far from irresponsible with money or generally. My parents reacted poorly. They claimed that it is not a big ask. I said that, actually, it is kind of a big ask for me to serve as trustee for who knows how long, and that the one silver lining of getting no inheritance should be that I do not need to be involved in the estate. I offered to refer them to a professional trust company. They accused me of refusing out of jealousy. That was too much for me, so I pulled out my banking app and showed them that what was just sitting in my checking account was close to their estate. To be honest, I had just received a large deferred compensation wire from my firm, so it was unusually large. But look, I was annoyed at their accusation and wanted to rebut it as quickly and convincingly as possible. When we parted, it was a little tense, and my mom said, "Well, I guess we were wrong to think we could count on you." Now I am thinking, maybe I should just suck it up and do it. Am I the jerk? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the administrator. Your parents need to talk with an attorney who specializes in trusts. They could set it up so your brother receives a certain amount each year or a certain percentage of the trust value each year. And they can have an attorney, bank, or other trustee oversee it. Gently remind your parents that you are his brother, not his banker. Your brother would probably agree. Maybe they should discuss it with him. Comment 2. Not the administrator. This is actually insulting to treat their son as not being able to manage his own finances. This is rather usual for disabled or very irresponsible beneficiaries. If they want to give him an inheritance, let them just give it to him. Any of your decisions as a trustee will be taken badly just because of the above reason. Now, for the update. A few days after the really awkward goodbye at my parents' house, my brother called and asked to meet. Like, why can't we just text? Anyway, he suggested we grab coffee at some local cafe near his house. This place is usually packed, but somehow it had this cozy vibe that made it feel less formal, like we weren't about to have a serious talk or something. I got there a bit early and ordered a black coffee while I waited, just to keep things simple, you know? When my brother walked in, he seemed more relaxed than the last time we saw each other. It was like he felt better or something. He sat down and we exchanged some small talk about work and family, the usual stuff. Then he got right into it, bringing up our parents and their decision about the estate. He expressed his gratitude for their support, which was nice and all, but something felt off in his tone. Like, was he just saying that because he had to? He mentioned that our parents had been pushing him to take a bigger role in the family finances, and I had no idea how to respond to that. So I just stayed quiet and sipped my coffee like it was the most interesting thing in the world. Then he suddenly asked if I planned to accept the trustee role. I explained my concerns about potential resentment between us. He nodded, but then dropped this news that he had spoken to our parents about my hesitation. He said they were disappointed and felt I was rejecting the family. Wow, that made me feel really good. Then my brother proposed that if I took the trustee role, he would manage his finances without my interference. This made me a bit uneasy, as it felt like he was putting pressure on me to agree. I mean, what kind of support is that? A few days later, I went to a family dinner at my parents' house for my dad's birthday. The atmosphere was just, not great. Everyone gathered around the dinner table like it was a scene from a bad family movie. My parents made a toast, thanking my brother for his hard work with the nonprofit. I noticed my brother's wife giving me these anxious glances throughout the meal. Like, what was that about? After dinner, my brother pulled me aside in the kitchen and asked if we could talk privately. He revealed that our parents had mentioned cutting him off if I refused to be the trustee. This was like a total shock. It felt like a threat rather than support. I confronted my parents about this after dinner. They just dismissed my concerns and insisted that I was overreacting. They just wanted what was best for the family. Yeah, right. Tensions escalated, and my mom raised her voice, saying I was being selfish. Really mature of her, right? The next day, I got a text from my brother asking to meet again. We met at a nearby park, where he brought up the estate situation once more. He suggested that we could both benefit from the inheritance, regardless of the trustee role. A week later, I got a call from my brother while I was at work. He informed me that our parents were making a formal announcement about the estate. He insisted I should be present, but I felt like it was a setup to corner me. He said it would be a big family gathering next weekend. I decided to attend, knowing it would be crucial for resolving the ongoing drama. During the gathering, my parents presented their estate plan, emphasizing my brother's role. They also dropped this news about a family trip to Europe funded by the estate. Like, wow, thanks for the invite. The gathering ended with my brother approaching me, wanting to discuss strategy. Edit. My brother and I spoke privately about the estate situation. He suggested that I could access the inheritance without being the trustee. I was shocked but intrigued. We agreed to a plan where he would take over as trustee after a year. This would ensure I had access to the funds. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.